my caption or my motto was 3 amigos, 2 bridges, 1 night. That was the goal. So my name is Rob Stamm. I'm now residing in Manhattan, New York, but originally I'm from outside of Boston.
Cool, we're outside of Boston.
Marlboro.
Marlboro?
Yeah.
I actually have a couple of friends from around that area that I went to school with.
Awesome.
I don't know too much about it.
Yeah. Oddly enough, we had the biggest, I was a hockey player, and we had and have the biggest ice hockey rink, I believe, in New England and potentially the world. There's like 8 rinks in one building. So if you meet anyone that plays hockey up here,
probably come from
they're like, oh, Marlboro? Yeah.
I know that place.
Yeah.
Did you play hockey?
I did, yeah, all the way through high school. So.
Cool. Was anything from your youth around Boston, anything in particular from kind of that area that kind of got you into creating, or? Oddly
enough, artistically, I was completely blank until I would say college.
College is when you started.
Yeah, I was a total, in high school, all the way up through high school, I was a total typical jock.
Yeah.
Mostly just focused on hockey. And then I went to college and there was a club team that was going D3 and there was like 90 kids trying out for 3 spots, didn't go for it. And I was like, how am I gonna fill all this time? And my roommate at that time, his name was Kidder, he had a camera.
Okay.
So all of a sudden we were like riding the longboard around and trying to get new profile pictures for him.
That's how it always starts.
Yeah. So it always started with the profile picture, which we thought was cool.
That.
And then next thing I know, I'm dropping out of college, or I'm going about college in a non-traditional way by pursuing it online. And I decided I'm not going to go back to Marlboro. I don't want to be in the suburbs. I don't want to be the college kid in the suburbs talking to all the seniors in high school, right?
Right.
So I landed myself a little gig with some family in Brooklyn Heights. And at that point I was like, okay, I'm pursuing my degree online and I have no friends here and I'm not meeting anyone my age because I'm not in a class. So what am I gonna do? And my common interests of hockey, lacrosse, wakeboarding, dirt biking, there's not much water in New York, so I was like, what am I gonna do? So I signed myself up for an Insta meet because now I was like, what's photography? And I met up with one photographer through Instagram and I was like, how can I connect with people in this city? So I said photography was the outlet. I went to one Insta meet, made 2, 3, 4 friends being loose, like people. I was like, hey, I connected with someone close to my age, let's leech on to them.
Right.
And all of a sudden photography became my life. It was like my outlet, it gave me a social life.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that first Insta meet really was like the catalyst to everything.
And it's crazy.
Just because you needed friends.
Yeah, it was like a desperation outreach and I was like, how can I relate to people here? Because I'm not artsy at all.
Right.
But photography ended up being it, and to this day, Kidder, my original roommate, jokes that he should get a royalty on every photo because he's the reason it all took off. I think music has always been a big part of my life. Not that I'm musically gifted in any way, but I've always liked music. I think ever since I can remember, I was the type to turn the car radio on right away. I brought the iPod to the hockey games for the locker room. So music was always close to me, but I think I took guitar lessons for 2 weekends and then quit.
Yeah.
But I learned one Beatles song, which I can't do anymore. But yeah, and then painting wise, things like that, I never got too hands-on. The most I expanded was recently in the past year, I've gone into videography.
Yeah.
Which it's got that tie to photography, but it is a whole different game. And a whole nother skill set, which I found to be really fun. And I think, photos capture a moment where a video can tell a bit more of a story. Not that both can't, but there's a difference.
Do you think that transition's easy? Is it, for me, going from photo to video has been super hard.
I would agree. I would say if I could go from video to photo, that's the dream.
Easier.
Yeah. But so photo to video, she's my ex now, but I had a girlfriend and she was into videography.
Yeah.
So when we started dating, she taught me all these tricks about editing and how to shoot, lighting, blah, blah, blah. So that made the transition a little easier to have someone that gave me honest feedback. But yeah, it is a rough transition, still is. And I definitely know a lot more about photography than videography.
Cool. But it's definitely something you want to keep pursuing, videography.
Sure. We just did a trip recently, my roommate and I, to California, and we I kind of did a montage style recap of the whole trip. And aside from videos being cool, I think it's a really great way to document a moment in time. And 10 years from now, it'll be pretty cool to look back at that video.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So where do you draw inspiration from as an artist? This is a pretty general question you can answer.
Yeah. So being that my base is Instagram, I would say majority of my inspiration comes from Instagram. Specifically, there's a couple people that I followed closely since I started. Ivan Wong. He's got a unique spelling, but if you look up Ivan Wong, he's pretty big.
He's a photographer.
Yeah.
These are all photographers?
Yeah, these are all photographers.
Okay.
Frank Yang also. Yeah. And then recently, on a more personal level, I've been hanging out with this guy, Randy. He's from California, but he's second floor guy on Instagram. So I think those initial two kind of inspire me in the content I create, where if I hit a roadblock and I don't know how to spice up my photo, I'll go check out their page and
that's cool.
See what they've done. But then guys like Randy are more on a personal level. They inspire me to actually go out and shoot.
Okay.
So it's cool. And same thing with my roommate. His name's Cody CM. But yeah, I think they inspire me to pick up the camera, while the other guys inspire me to like tweak my content to be a little bit more unique.
Right.
So that's cool.
Now, being inspired by these people, how would you describe your photography, videography? How's your style? How is it unique to you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I started early on with the whole rooftoping scene, which was a conversation starter and definitely helped me define my own sort of medium. And then quickly I realized I was getting more and more eyes, and I wanted to take this bad thing I was doing, right? Rooftoping is bad, and going to places you're not as bad, but it was attracting a lot of eyes, so I wanted to do something good. So the way I not only took my content, but also my platform as a whole, was my captions. They're the inspirational theme, kind of this business mindset, but also don't feel bad for yourself and go out and hustle type thing. But also really relatable. And I was hoping that I could build a feed where if you were having a rough day or you're feeling unmotivated, my daily photo, or now less than daily, but my frequent photos would inspire you to get up and go. So my content reflects that with, I used to not do any Photoshop, straight out of the camera, edit it, pull some hues, whatever. Now recently I've gotten more into Photoshop, and I've just put my own splash on it, trying to make the photo more wild and more unique. There's so many rooftop photos of New York. How can you play with the sky? Can you add anything in the foreground? Things like that. Just tweaking it to be my own. I was in a very weird position where through Instagram I had connected with someone who climbed the Manhattan Bridge and someone else who'd climbed the Williamsburg Bridge. Neither of them knew each other. They both knew me, and they both wanted to climb the other person's bridge. Now in these situations, it's good to go with someone who's done it before. Right. They can show you the path, they know the loops, whatever. So I kind of volunteered myself to be the third wheel on this, on whatever this adventure was. And it's worth noting that I didn't meet either of these people in real life before the night where we decided that this was going to be like our grand heist type deal. So my caption, or my motto, was 3 amigos, 2 bridges, 1 night. That was the goal.
You thought of this before this happened. I love it.
And then so this is one of those things where you got to meet up at like 1 a.m. Can't really go broad daylight and try to do this. So it was late night, quiet. I took like a motivating shower right before I cranked some music to like pump me up, because I was like, they might kill me, I might fall off a bridge and die. I gotta be.
What were your expectations? Did you have any expectations or not?
I mean, I'm not afraid of heights or anything like that. I think my biggest fear was just meeting new people that could be weird. A lot of these rooftoping profiles, mine included, there's no like face shots, right? You don't even know what the person looks like. Luckily through Facebook, I mean, they have Instagram handles that are not their name, but then they put their name in their bio, so you can like creep on them on Facebook. But again, it's just a weird scenario to be in. So, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. It's meetup time, And so we go to a place right at the base of the Manhattan Bridge, and we meet up, we get together, and they were all normal. One kid was 17. I was 19 at the time, so it wasn't like a creepy age gap, but the first thing he said is, just FYI, if we get caught, I'm 17 and I will leave you guys. And I was like, wow, like this is motivating. So the other kid was 19 as well. So we were both like, well, we'll stick together, dibs on top bunk, like type thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we didn't get caught. Spoiler. But, so now here we are. And I guess I shouldn't provide, and I can't provide the details on how exactly to climb this thing.
Yeah.
But I can say, there's moving traffic underneath you. There is some cameras to be wary of. There's a boat that is supposed to be, and I think is watching the bridges for this kind of thing.
I would imagine. I mean, there's a lot of like other kind of things that can go wrong with a bridge.
Yeah.
That aren't people climbing it later.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing is I wasn't worried per se about getting caught as a photographer. It's the fact that when you're up there, you can be conceived as doing something way worse than we're doing, right? If they knew we were taking photos, they'd think we're idiots and call us down. But, you know, in the silhouette, when you have a camera like this from a distance, maybe it looks like a potential weapon.
Yeah.
And God forbid something goes way more south than it needs to. That's a scary thought. So that's kind of lingering in the back of my head on top of, well, we're about to free climb this 312 feet. Maybe don't quote me on it. But it's a 312-foot climb to the top, and you know we have our backpacks on.
How narrow is the space that you have to climb?
So I can't necessarily say exactly that, but I will. It's nothing that extreme.
Okay.
If you can do, if you're remotely athletic, this isn't a big deal. The way in my head I think about it, like, you know, people have to work on top of this thing like construction workers, so they have to make it accessible. Yeah. But there's certainly hurdles to making it accessible to the public.
Right.
You know, they have special keys and things that'll open a door that maybe you need. But, so here we are, we're on this climb, and we're getting close to the top. Before you get to the top, there's sort of like, I don't want to say a seating area, but we used it as a seating area and we kind of take a breath. And at this point, I felt awkwardly calm. I think in high intensity situations like this, it's important to stay calm. Before it was happening, I was freaking out. And immediately after it happened, I was freaking out. But during it, I was in my zen and I was like, I'm okay.
It's all good.
Yeah, so anyway, we got our shots. I got the classic like feet with the bridge so I could prove I was there kind of deal. And I got some of the best photos of my life. The two guys I was with were awesome. And since then, we've remained friends. We don't really hang out that often, but it's like, I feel we have a bond.
Oh,
and I will say, to me, the scariest part was coming down. Going up, you're kind of just looking up and you're getting to your goal. But on the way down, you're stopping yourself from falling, right? And, you know, you can see the water below you. There's still traffic. I mean, if you fell, you wouldn't hit traffic, but it's just, there's a lot of movement. It's a loud city.
Yeah.
It's dark. I've never been here, and whatever. And we were doing it closer to winter, so it was cold, which I think was good because I was sweating. I was scared, so I was like, cold could be good. But anyway, it was an amazing adventure. It was scary. I don't advise you try, especially now since I've gone and done it. Laws have changed, and the penalties, if you do it, are much more severe.
Do you know of anybody getting caught, and that's why it's changed, or have they just been proactive about
I think with rooftopping and this whole climbing thing becoming more and more popular throughout New York, they were setting an example that we don't want to encourage this. People, not that my page ever really blew up. I mean, I'm not like that big, but I know that there were some really big photographers who came to New York and did it, and it's become almost like a signature thing to do. So they were trying to stop that, which I think they actively have, because I haven't seen someone climb it.
I feel like you don't see almost as many like rooftoping posts these days. Like, in terms of like trends on Instagram go.
Totally.
It's like
it definitely was a fad, and you know, I think everything I did, there's like a misconception that it was reckless, right?
Yeah.
I think I took active steps to make sure that there was safety precautions in way.
Minimal risk.
going with someone who'd done it before, things like that. And, you know, I never felt rushed. There was times to take breaks, give your arms a break, because you were climbing a lot. So things like that, I think, and that's where that's why the police have had to get so involved, is because unfortunately, whether it's the bridge or a building, people have started to die.
Yeah.
Where it's a fun thing, but in the moment, you do need to be serious and realize you're 400 feet above water. And I'm not a scientist, but I can tell you that concrete and water feel the same from 400 feet up. So in the moment, I was always very serious, and as my dad likes to say, be athletic about it.
Yeah.
So
when was the last time you've been on a roof for the purpose of rooftoping?
Yeah, probably like a year ago.
Yeah.
I don't know, once it got mainstream popular, it almost took away the attraction, and by then the laws were getting increasingly more severe if you get punished. So it was like I'd hit the majority of the buildings I'd wanted before the laws got that way and before it came mainstream. So now if I don't have access from like someone who's either been on the roof or works at the building or whatever, kind of, you know, and I'm 22 now, so it's kind of like, what are you really doing? Like,
we can get in serious trouble.
Yeah, still trying to keep my own reputation clean.
Yeah.
So things like that.
Alright.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good story.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Was that the tallest thing you've ever climbed?
No. The luckiest I've ever got is in a building in Columbus Circle. I don't even know the name. There's a mall in Columbus Circle, and so I was with Cody, and we were out to get on a roof. That was like our goal for the night. We didn't necessarily know what, but Columbus Circle would be a great long exposure with the circle, so it would be a great shot. So we're trying this, and we do go with this honesty approach sometimes, where you go to the person at the front desk, hey, I'm a photographer, here's my Instagram feed, would you let us up? They always say no, although sometimes maybe they'll say yes, and you get brownie points for being honest. But we went for it, and all of a sudden we were on the 4th or 5th floor, again wearing my pea coat, looking a little clean cut, and there was an event going on. Everybody was in suits and blah blah blah. We kind of looked like we were the photographers for this event. So all of a sudden we see 2 maintenance guys. Again, this is like 9 or 10 p.m, so it's not that late. It was towards the end of an event. And they go into the fire stairwell, and we follow them. We're, 20 feet behind. And we decided we'll just take the fire stairwell all the way up. But all of a sudden we're like 40 stories high, and the doors are all locked. Like to get out of the stairwell. Yeah. But the door would say, go up another 2 floors, and the door's unlocked. But that wasn't true.
So no doors are unlocking.
Right. So we're stuck in a stairwell. Yeah, and we don't know how tall this building is, right? It's not like we stood outside and counted it. So all of a sudden we're getting towards like the 30s or 40s, and I'm starting to get a little freaked out, and I'm in a peak. It's hot, okay? Yeah. So, and we're climbing.
Right. With gear.
Yeah. Yeah. So all of this is adding up, and we're both calm, but we're both like, this might not be good. And you can see in the stairwell there was cameras. So we're like, either no one's watching the camera or we're about to get in trouble. So next thing I know, I hear keys, and they're a floor above us, or 2 floors above us, but they're in the stairwell, and I'm like, Cody, follow my lead. This is a true story. We got so lucky. Okay, so we go up 2 more, we're like, oh my goodness, thank God we found you. We're stuck in the stairwell. And right as we did that, he was a maintenance guy in the building. He gets radioed and says, hey, there's 2 guys in the stairwell, can you go check it out? He radios back, he's like, yeah, I got him, hold on 1 sec. And he's like, what are you guys doing here? And we're like, we are photographers for the event, and they wanted us to get a shot of Columbus Circle to add to their album for their event. He's like, oh, cool. And then again, the guy radios, he's like, I don't think they're supposed to be there, can you get them out? And he's like, yeah, I got them, they're with the event, don't worry, I'm bringing them up to the roof. And we're like, okay, awesome. So we get out of the stairs, we take the elevator up. I think we're on like 50s or 60s at this point. We were up there. He takes us through 2 doors that require keys, and both lock you out. So now we're in Columbus Circle, 60 floors up or so, and he says, my shift just ended, how long do you guys need? And we were like, we're gonna do some long exposures. He didn't know what that meant,
Yeah.
and we were just like, the longer we could have, the better. He's like, listen, I'm gonna leave. This door is gonna lock you outside. I'm gonna send a security guard up, and when you're ready, just knock on the door and he'll let you out and bring you back down. We had 45 minutes out on this balcony, completely to ourselves, and there was a ledge, like a wall kind of. So we were getting our feet dangled. The security guard wasn't even watching us.
Right.
So we got these feet dangle shots, blah, blah. And then we were escorted down by a security guy to the lobby. And he's like, do you guys have your passes to get back in? And we're like, no, it's okay. He's like, well, do you want to go back to the event? And we're like, no, you can just bring us to the front door. And he's like, well, how did you guys get in? And we're like, through the mall side. And that's when the doors open. He's like, what do you mean the mall side? And we're like, yeah, we're good. And we left. And at that moment, it all clicked to him that we were not supposed to be there. This was all like just a play on words. And
A play on words.
we got super, super lucky. So I think that's probably my most like unique photo.
Yeah.
And I think we Snapchatted like the security guard walking us down. So everyone thought we were in big trouble because, you know,
Right.
security guard.
Yeah.
So, whew.
You always had people around you who support your passion for photography and kind of the arts.
Sure, yeah. My sister was into dance, so
Okay.
like she's was going for Broadway in her life. So I mean, I was actually probably the least artsy supporter in my entire crew. So luckily for me, yeah, my family's always been super supportive. My friends, I will say, in the beginning, the one thing that was almost discouraging was my friends would almost give me a little bit of a hard time for taking Instagram seriously. The platform was newer, and I was not known as the artsy kid anyway.
Yeah.
So when I started to get like serious about editing and too much saturation, like I didn't know what I was doing.
We all done.
Yeah.
Back then.
So in the beginning, my friends definitely gave me a hard time, like especially the hockey boys, like artsy and
Yeah. Well, I remember Instagram almost being a platform for girls when it came out.
yeah, exactly.
I feel like I was in, I don't know, I was like a freshman or sophomore in high school when it came out, and only girls used it.
Yeah,
And it,
agreed.
And it was like, I had to swallow my pride when I finally made one.
Yeah.
So strange.
I agree. I think I was a late comer to the game too. I'm not the type to download apps before they're big and be like, the Maven, search it out now. But I was saying, yeah, it was definitely true that my friends were not supportive of it. And then now they're all cool. Like everyone kind of saw the bigger picture, but at first, they're like, yo, you should tag me. Or not. Yeah.
That's funny.
But,
well, that's good though. You've had support from a variety different of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
I wouldn't say I had it rough. Yeah.
Yeah. And has there ever been a point where you wanted to quit this journey of creating, let's call it?
I mean, I think there's been times where photography took the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
There was moments in time where I considered maybe this is like my profession and the career I want to go down. And every time I took it from hobby to like business, Rob, turned me off from it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say anytime I went businessy, I was like, this isn't for me. But it always came back to the camera. I use photography as my escape from business, or not that I have any like major problems in life, but you know, whenever I'm stressed, photography is like my release.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always come back to it, but I don't see myself pursuing it as a professional career. I leverage it,
Right.
and I enjoy it a lot, and I'll do it as a service from time to time. But yeah, I think making it fully professional would make me not want to do it,
Right.
while keeping it as a hobby. It's just an awesome thing to do.
And it is so kind of what you do, like consultative marketing is so intertwined with this, where you kind of need to, and that's why I think you offer a kind of interesting perspective, because you do bring a lot more of the business aspect of art.
Yeah.
So how do you think those two things, like the art and the business, why do they play so well together, and why do you think you've been able to kind of leverage the art to gain momentum with business, or vice versa? So
it all started exactly reverse. My goal was never to do this. I knew, like deep down, I studied business, and I'm finishing up a master's degree in business. So business for me has always been the root, and then I always end up taking my hobbies and seeing how can you make money with them, right? Like, making money is a fun hobby too. One of which I wish I could do more of, but started with photography, then my page started to grow. Then came brand deals where I'll send you this product in exchange for a photo and, you know, post on your platform, which was great. I got some free watches, and then all of a sudden, you know, one big watch company will work with you, and like the 30 or so tiny ones will follow their lead and hit you up from there. And I'm like, well, I don't need more watches, but if you pay me X amount of dollars, I'll take some photos for you. I won't post it on my feed though, because I don't want to become
a watch.
Like, yeah, not like Amazon.com,
right.
Just product deals. So that turned into, okay, I can make a few bucks. It's inconsistent, and yeah, it's not that exciting, but at least if I'm going to be shooting anyway, I'll hold your watch, I'll take a picture.
Right.
You got New York in the background, yay me. Then it was sort of like my page was getting bigger and my engagement was pretty high considering my following, blah, blah, blah. I was getting the same amount of likes on a post as someone much larger than me. So I was leveraging that, and I would start emailing companies, and aside from the product exchange, they would start to ask, like, how do you manage your account? How come you get so many likes? How come you get so many comments? And at first I was like, I don't really know. Like,
how do I do it?
Yeah, how do I do this? So it forced me to study my own system.
Okay.
And by doing that, I quickly realized, you know, maybe I shouldn't just give this away. I don't think I can charge an arm and a leg for it, but let's see if I can become a little bit more integrated with these guys' business. Then I took another course online on my side time about online marketing, social media marketing, running campaigns, targeted ads, and I was like, a lot of this seems common sense to me because I understand the platforms, because I use them.
Right.
So I found this way to leverage my personal page following, this new knowledge, and as opposed to going person to person, where generally an individual will have much shorter pockets than a business, well, then I started sending emails to businesses, and I was like, hey, do you want to get more foot traffic? Do you want this, this, this? I can provide it. And then, you know, they say, well, you're so young, blah, blah, blah. And then I would say, well, again, here's the link to my account. I've done it.
Yeah.
So that gave me this credibility
right.
in this business industry, which all stemmed from photography. So it all kind of came back full circle. And now the majority of my time is spent with digital marketing strategy and helping businesses create a more relevant online presence, running targeted ads, targeted campaigns, but that's the stuff that I've found pays the best buck and is consistent.
Cool.
So it's been really interesting, and I love it. I mean, it's cool to remove yourself from your own page, and I only work with businesses where I feel they're offering a good thing or a good service. So I'm supporting the brands I work with.
Yeah.
And I don't post them on my page. I don't work out those kind of deals. It's just, here's how I can help you. And actually, for the first time in my business career, being so youthful is actually a good thing. Because they're like, oh, you're a millennial.
Right.
You must know tech, right? Like, yeah, they're not
Interesting.
giving me over operations of the whole business, but
Right.
they're like, you're 22, you live on social media, you must know it.
Right.
And you got the numbers to back it up, so here you go. So it's cool that it gave me this credibility.
That's cool.
Yeah.